Good evening, and here we have the next step of this restoration. Now then, what I've been doing, I actually jumped ahead a little bit, but what I did, I put a new grill cloth on. I should have done a little video on that, but I didn't, forgot. But to do the grill cloth, quite straightforward. Once you take the old grill cloth off, you can keep it as a guide to measuring a new bit, and then I cut a bit of this, which is just kind of a muslin kind of stuff. There you go. It's quite nice. I can't remember where I got it from. I think I got it online, and that's quite nice. But the other one you can use, and they're both quite cheap, is needlecraft fabric. There you go. And this is what you do, kind of cross stitch and stuff on, and that's also nice and cheap. But it also gives you a nice grill cloth because it's got allows air to go through it, but it looks nice and tidy, nice and neat. And then what you do is just simply cut out the same size, or make sure you get the right size to go inside. And then the glue that I use, which works really, really well, is, I'll just grab it. Here we go. I use this stuff, fast tack glue, made by, I can't remember. Anyway, it's called fast tack glue. It's kind of a PVA, so it will do wood and fabric and different things, but just works really, really well. So just put a little coating of that on the grill itself, cut the cloth to the right size, and just press it down, hold it down, and it gives you a really nice finish. What I've also done is I had some gold paint, because I've got a gold bike and I had some gold touch-up paint. So I've got some gold touch-up paint, and I've just touched up the gold detailing on the grill, so it looks really nice. But there are a few diamantes missing, and the diamantes, they do give it a little bit of sparkle, and there's a few that are missing. So what I've done, I've ordered some self-adhesive diamantes, and they're about £2 for 100, so really, really cheap. Once they come, I'll just put them in the missing gaps, and it just makes it a nice sparkle, makes it all look really, really nice. So that's done. So that's an easy one, the grill cloth. The thing I'm going to do next is the bellows gasket. So let me just talk through the bellows gasket. Now the bellows gasket is really important because it allows you to seal the treble on the bass side with the bellows, so that you get a good, tighter connection as possible with minimal air leaks. So let me just get my little special wooden block for the pins. So I'll take the pins out. I'm going to take the pins out of all of the accordion, so I'll just make sure I put them in the right place, get them out, and then we'll have a look at the bellows gasket. So let's just get all these pins out to start with, and then we'll have a look at the bellows gasket. In the right place. So this accordion is kind of on the home straight now, because all the length is, well, the big stuff, the reeds have been done, treble side pallets have been done, grill cloth has been done. Just about to do the bellows gasket. I've got to do just check the bellows for any little leaks, and obviously there's some tuning to do as well. So I'll do a little tuning video as well. Let's get all these pins out. Let's have a look at these bellows gaskets. Put them in the right place. Let's see what we got. Now when you take the bellows or the treble and bass sides off, it's really important, or good idea, just to make a note of which way the bellows went, because sometimes they can go a couple of ways, and it just makes it a bit easier when you put everything back together. So let's take the treble side off. Pop that down. So I'm going to get my pencil, or can't find pencil, so it'll have to be a pen. And on here I'm going to just put a little mark so I know which way round these bellows went into the accordion. Flare up and you see all the nicely valved reeds on the base side as well, so let's pop that down as well. I'm not running out of room. Let's find a bit of room down here. Okay, so here we have the bellows. He's actually pretty good shape. So what I'm going to do next is the bellows gasket. So if I can just show you this gasket that goes along the frame of the bellows, and this is what you need to be in place to compress slightly and to give a nice tight fit of the pins into their holes so there's no gaps. Now this gasket is a bit of leather and it looks to me as if it's the original gasket, which has probably been on there for quite a while. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the gasket off. Now the easiest way is to get yourself a knife, and I'll just get like a nice Swiss Army type knife. Let's have a look. So if you just put your knife underneath the gasket, and then what you can do, you can just start to pull it away. So this is actually coming off quite well. Now it's a bit of a job because it's kind of stuff that's been on there for a lot of years. So the idea is to get as much as we can off. The easy way is just by kind of like pulling it like this, and then the next bit is just a bit more laborious. You just have to then start off with a little blade and just very carefully scrape away as much of that excess gasket as you can without actually scraping into the wood. You don't want to, you want to keep that as flat as you can, and once you've got as much of that off, then I'm going to go around with the kind of 240 grit sandpaper and I'm just going to sand everything off so it's as flat and as free from old bellows gasket as I can get it. Once I've got to that point, I'll start another video, a little clip, and show you how I then put the new gasket on. So let me get on with that for a second. Okay, so all done on the cleaning, and then I get a little brush and just dust all of these edges. I'm dusting my tea, yeah. And this is really, really important because if you leave the dust on there, the self-adhesive part of the new bellows gasket just won't stick very well. It will just be a bad job. So, clean, dry brush. Let's get all of that off. All the way around. So you've got a nice clean surface, flat, free from dust and dirt, and that will give you the best chance of getting a good bellows gasket onto there. Now the next step is to measure the frame, because you need to get the right width of bellows gasket. So where the bellows gasket sits, measure it in millimeters, because that's where how you're going to buy the bellows gasket probably. I'm going to put it on and I'm going to measure how deep I want that bellows gasket to come out, and it should come out to the edge of the frame. So on this one it needs to come out 5 millimeters, so I'm going to use 5mm width bellows gasket. So this bellows gasket comes in different width. I've got some 7mm here as well, which I'm not going to be using. So the 5mm is going to be cool, and it's 2mm thick. So it's 5mm wide, 2mm thick, and that should be perfect for this little job. Okay, so next step is to put the bellows gasket on. Now this, like any other job when you're doing an accordion, is something you've got to just take your time with. If you kind of try and rush these kind of jobs, you can just end up in a right old pickle, right old mess. So let's just turn that around a little bit. There we are. So what I do is I start in the middle of one side, and I'm going to make sure that I've got a nice straight starting point, because I'm going to come round and finish off there, so I want a nice straight edge. And I'm going to just peel off a bit of the self-adhesive tape. So I get these bellows gaskets from CGM Musical, which is based in Scotland. Charlie, what's his surname? Marshall, Charlie Marshall of CGM Musical. So I'm going to start halfway along one side, and you just have to very carefully push it down so it butts up nicely to the edge of the frame, into the inside edge, and starts off flat. Then as I go around, so I'm just going to push it down so it's right against the inside edge, if you like, nice and tight, so it's pushed down right in. Like so. Now when you get to the corner, this is the slightly more tricky bit, I suppose. What you have to do is just get yourself a bit of backing taken off, and you just carefully bend it around the corner, but not too sharply because you'll just get a nasty crease. Just carefully bend it around the corner, applying tension to that tape so it's not all saggy, so it's kind of got a little bit of tension to it, and then there we go, and you can off you go again, and just carry on all the way around. So I'm just going to carry on all the way around, pushing it against the inside edge of the frame, but making sure it sits flat. There we go. Got to the corner, undo a little bit more, a little bit of tension, stretch it round. There we go, and just carry on all the way merrily along until you get to the beginning again. So again, make sure you push it all the way in to the inside edge of the bellows frame. Looking good. So now just get that bit down there, turn that bit off. Okay, got to the corner, carefully bend it round the corner, nice and neat, and then here we are on the home straight nearly. Again, keep pushing it against the inside edge, so it's nice and neat, and just keep undoing. Don't undo loads of backing right at the beginning, just undo enough to keep you going. Look at that. What that? Oh, hang on, that's got in a little bit of a mess. There we go. Just enough to keep you going, and there we go. So bring it round nice and neatly, looking good. Now when you get to the beginning, what I do is I just normally go a little bit past the first bit that I put on, doopy-doopy-doo, just by half a centimetre or so. So let's get it nice and close to the edge, and I've just cut it about half a centimetre longer, like so, and then I can just tidy up all the new stuff and put that out of the way. And then this is where you just have to be really careful. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just put it down, and then I'm just going to get my sharp scissors and cut exactly where I need to, so that when I push it down it will just be a perfect fit. And this is where you just got to do just a little bit at a time, and there we go. Perfect. And that is a nicely fitted bellows gasket, all done. So that's it, that's bellows gasket done. So I'll do the same for the other side of the bellows, and that will make a big difference. And then I'll show you just a little bit how I'm going to get the holes tightened up for the bellows pins, because they're a little bit loose. So I'll show you that in the next little clip. But first of all, I'm going to get this side is done as well. So I'll do exactly the same thing for this side of the bellows. Okay. Okay, right. Bellows gasket's done. It's good. I've actually had a look holding up the bellows to the window, and I can't see any holes actually evident in the bellows, so the bellows are actually in really good shape, so I'm not going to be fixing any of the holes in the bellows. But what I'm going to do is tighten up the holes for the bellows pins. There's a couple of ways of doing this. First thing you could do, you could get bigger pins, so if you order an next size pin up, that will be tighter. The other way of doing it is to fill the hole, well, get some cocktail sticks, put some glue on the pointy bit, poke the cocktail stick into the hole. Now cocktail sticks made of birch, which is really quite a nice wood. Bit of wood glue on there, and then leave it to dry, and then just snip it off and sand it, and then you can re-drill the hole for the pin. So basically, if you put the bellows back onto the treble and bass sides and just get a fine drill through the hole on the bass or treble side, and to drill the hole into there, and then you can just actually then get the hole exactly as you like it. But what I'm going to try first, just to see if it works, is I'm just going to try a little bit of this, my favourite glue, and I'm just going to put some into the holes and just leave it to seep in, and then once that's dry, I've got a feeling that that will just tighten up those pins enough. If it isn't enough, then I'll go for the cocktail stick plan, but this is just a slightly quicker way of just tightening up those holes. So I'm just going to put a tiny drop over these ones on this side, and just fill up the hole. Just let that seep in. And I'll do the same thing on the this side here, and I'll do the same thing on the other side as well, and let that dry and just see if that makes those holes just tighten up a little bit. So there we go, that's my quick technique. Who knows if that will work or not. It might not be enough, but it might be enough just to tighten up those pins, just by having a little bit of glue there, just to seep into the holes. Let it dry and see what happens. Okay, so that's that really. So I'll stop the video there. So that was bellows gasket, bellows grill cloth, and a slightly DIY tightening up the bellow pinholes. Okay, that's it for today. Alright, thank you very much.